I had questions,
All right.
but how do you feel after today?
Good day. I
Good
mean,
day.
it's sad. I mean, the
Yeah.
stories are sad that these people have suffered such injustices by DHR, but I think it was good for them and it was good for us to hear.
Yeah.
And I think, actually, I think all politicians need to do more of this.
I don't think that they want to hear these conversations.
I know. Well, they're painful
Yeah.
and difficult, and then they have to take some responsibility. Or then once you know too, you have to act.
hmm And they don't want to act.
Right.
They're not allowed to. So you chose to publicly center families today harmed by DHR. What personal or political risk were you willing to take by doing this, and was it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I know this is one of the topics that they don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
And when I say they, I mean the establishment, both Republicans, Democrats. They don't want to talk about this because it shows the failure of the system,
hmm
and not just DHR, but I mean all the way down to the courts and
hmm
the law enforcement. And so that's hard for us to accept sometimes that we have failure, and not just massive failure, but massive corruption on all levels. So
hmm
that gets you in trouble because we're just supposed to toe the
Everything's fine,
yeah,
right?
everything's fine.
Yeah.
Law enforcement's great. There's no problems with the
Yeah.
courts. We don't have corrupt judges. We don't have any problem. But that doesn't help these families that can't seem to get their kids back when they've done nothing wrong. I can imagine that's never happened to me. I can imagine that kind of pain if I had my daughters taken away from me when they were really young, especially. And it's just such a wrong and so evil on such a
Yeah.
level that I just don't know why it's not a major concern. I mean,
Yeah.
like they always want to make the last couple of sessions, gambling, gambling, gambling. Who cares
Yeah.
about your stupid gambling bills? We've got families losing their kids
hmm
and false accusations and corrupt judges, and fix that.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about gambling until you fix that.
Absolutely. Today in the meeting, which you didn't get to go in, there was a maximum capacity of 21. We just talked, there was probably 75 people waiting to get into that meeting. And parents wrapped up. I mean, some of the hardest stories, every story that I hear, they're all so hard to hear. But I remember when they cut to the actual agenda of the meeting, and I mean, they dove 20 minutes into whether the EBT cards now have, a stripe and a chip and all the things on it. And it's like this compelling conversation that they're having. And it's like, it just felt so insensitive and wrong. And I know they have to discuss those things, but there was very little acknowledgement about the horror that they had just heard.
Mm.
It's just unreal. Do you feel like if DHR were functioning as it was intended to be functioning, do you think families would not be experiencing what they are here today?
Well, yeah, but it's the whole system. I mean, you got to have judges, you got to have sheriffs, you got to have police officers. I mean, it's got to be
It's all of it. It's law
right,
enforcement.
right.
It's the judges.
And I got a question in the debate the other night about the pardons and paroles in the prison system,
hmm
and they were like, "Well, how do we fix it?"
Yeah.
Well, the only way you fix it is you got to have moral people
hmm
in those positions, which means you have to do a much better job at vetting people's backgrounds before you make them a prison guard or a warden or whatever.
Absolutely.
And it's the same thing with DHR or, DHR workers, case workers,
The
social workers.
GALs, all of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess we have the bar way too low
hmm
on who we are allowing in these positions, and they're easily corrupted by money.
hmm
And money and, the threats of whatever, maybe threats of harm or threats of, they got some kind of blackmail on them or whatever. But you have to have people that are moral are people that don't have anything hidden in the closet.
hmm
And so, and usually their faith is in God and the Lord Jesus, and they don't fear man.
Yeah.
And I just think a lot of it has to do with the love of money and fearing man.
hmm
And we just got to do a better job at getting people that are going, especially when you talk about people make decisions whether a child is taken from their home or not.
Exactly.
Or, that's just, to me, it's one of the biggest things we have to deal with.
Yeah, and the people that are so far at the top, I mean, they're so far removed from the reality that these families are living in.
hmm
And it removes that human part. They can't touch it, so they don't understand it, or they don't see it and they can ignore it.
Well, what woke me up to this, what helped wake me up even more, not that I haven't looked at it over the years, But when I started campaigning for governor last time, and you start traveling the state, and you start going to all these little meetings, and you start actually talking to people and meeting people face to face, and then they start telling you, well, for example, last time 80,000 miles, 2 solid years of campaigning. You may tell you how many meetings I saw Kay Ivey in where she was supposed to be with the other gubernatorial candidates?
How many?
2. That's it. And then that's run in, do your little speech, and run back out the door. How do you ever find out enough about what's really going on? You get in this ivory tower and you forget about the people you're supposed to be serving.
You can't know what's going on if you're not talking to your people.
Right.
So specifically, what levers does a lieutenant governor have to force accountability inside of DHR?
Well, it's interesting because the lieutenant governor actually sits on one of the boards, committees of DHR, so there'll be some of that. And then appointees, there's about 400 different positions you got to appoint, and part of that's in DHR as well.
Yes.
And what I found out is there is a law, and I've got to look into it, but like, for instance, if the governor's, like a case gets referred, somebody basically appeals to the governor about something.
Yeah.
The governor can say, well, the lieutenant governor's office needs to look into that for you. Well, then if it's referred from the governor's office, it's supposed to get looked into. So there's a lot of leeway there where it comes to helping people with real problems. And I just think that's something that I said the other night in the debate, and I said it here today, that I want to do different than all the other lieutenant governors, because the lieutenant governor did have a lot of powers stripped back in, what was it, the 90s or early 2000s? I can't remember. But so it's not as powerful a position, but the bully pulpit, being in the public eye, being able to call a press conference and they actually will show up, that kind of thing, you can put pressure on folks. But I said that I want to form an office of justice where parents can come, people can come, feel like they've been wronged by our state government and have a voice and actually fund it without state funds, just do fundraising. I'm going to donate my salary to do it, starting it off.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and that way, at least we can try to counterbalance the system. I mean, if parents come in, we hear some of these horror stories, and we could hand them $10,000 for an attorney to help them get started in the process. Anything like that is helpful, and I don't think it's too difficult. Now I don't know if somebody might try to stop me up there, but
you got a lot of people behind you that would fight for it.
Yeah, I mean, if I raise my own money and hire my own staff from that money, what do you care for what I do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot to still care about, even if it is
I think
funded
it would
by
look
you.
bad if they tried to stop that, wouldn't it?
Well, we like it when they tell them themselves. When DHR causes harm through misconduct or negligence, who should lose their job? And how do we ensure that responsibility doesn't stop at the lowest level?
I mean, of course, like the caseworker that left the kid in the car to die in the heat. Slowly.
And there's no accountability.
Yeah, that should have been instantaneous. You're done, and criminal charges should have been filed. I don't even know.
I can't understand it.
No. But again, whatever you do with the lower level, if it does not have repercussions, if you got a systemic problem in a part of DHR and it keeps happening, then the higher ups need to go.
Absolutely.
And then if you find, like we're finding, that it's through the whole thing, then you need a new director completely.
Yeah. What I found interesting, I come from a corporate background. There's no training. There's no statewide training for these offices. And so you've got different places doing different things, and where there's no set rules and policies and procedures really that are being followed, or training that is mandated throughout the state. It seems like there is a playbook, though, but it's a playbook on how to keep these children from going home. We're seeing the falsified drug screenings, not even misdiagnoses, but you can order a diagnosis for a parent, it seems, with some of these medical health facilities. So
we've got to take away the federal money from taking
public-private.
You cannot profit from taking kids out of their home. No, this has got to stop.
It's a perverse incentive.
Yes.
At what point does child protection cross into a violation of due process? And do you believe that Alabama has already crossed that line?
Oh, yes. I think every child protective service is probably in every state. I can't say for sure, but
Yeah.
It just looks like they give them this like blank check. You go violate their rights. I mean, it doesn't matter if whatever the situation, there still needs to be the Fourth Amendment needs to be respected.
Yeah.
The First Amendment needs to be respected. And
basic constitutional rights.
exactly. And for some reason, I mean, there's been judges that have said in these juvenile courts and stuff and family courts, they've said the Bill of Rights and the Constitution doesn't apply here when it comes to kids. Well, really? Where's that? Where is that in the Constitution? Where is that in any the Federalist Papers? Where is it? It doesn't exist. So yeah.
Just make up our own rules.
Yeah.
You speak openly about your faith. How does that shape your view of the state's moral authority to remove children from their families?
Well, of course, I believe that you have, when it comes to authority, God's first, right? God did institute government, but it comes underneath family.
Yeah.
Family next, and then government. And government, anyway, I mean, the biblical definition of government from Romans 13 is that the government is there to protect the righteous from abuse and injustice and to punish the wicked and the evil and those who do it. So when that role gets reversed, then it's completely not
where
biblical.
we're at now.
And to me, if you don't follow that basic principle, then you're in trouble. I mean,
everything else is broken.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. If families look back 1 year into your term, because we know you're getting elected, and see no measurable change, what should they conclude? And what accountability do you believe that you would owe them at that point?
If you looked into 1 year of my term and nothing has changed, or I hadn't at least tried to do it, I have been kidnapped and there's a clone serving as your lieutenant governor.
I love the answer. Yes.
Because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to start day one, you know, and these things are, I have certain priorities, and this is absolutely, to me, these parents and these children are an absolute priority. Nothing else is more important. Yes, we'll have to do other things, but this is most important.
I want to thank you. I'm advocating for these families relentlessly. And the things that I've seen. I'm a mother. You know, I'm a mother of 3 small boys. And I think, like you, I can't imagine the pain that these families live in. And there's nobody else. I mean, Terry, I don't know if she's still in the room, but there's so few of you that are willing to talk about it. It's horrendous.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I'll just say this, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this,
That's okay. But Jonathan can edit it.
It goes deeper. It's even deeper.
We know it does.
It's even deeper than a financial incentive. And on some realms, we have people that are in these, not all of them. So I'm going to preface it with that. But we do have a system where some very, very, very evil people are in these places on purpose.
Yes.
To facilitate a system to get these kids into a trafficking situation, a satanic ritual situation. I mean, you've got some very evil operators that have learned over the years how to be imposters and wolves in sheep's clothing, how to adapt. And they have created a system over many decades now. I mean, you go back to the Finders cult back in the 80s that were, you know, the CIA, rogue factions in the CIA have been involved in this. The Franklin case out of Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, that first began to be revealed by foster kids, started telling their stories about what was going on, and they were being trafficked to Washington, D.C., to politicians. Some of these meetings were not just sex parties and sex trafficking, but they were satanic rituals. So this is not a new problem, and it's Republican and Democrat. It doesn't have just one party problem.
I'm seeing that in Alabama. This is what's going to get me killed for talking about, but through what I'm working on, the child trafficking aspect came in, and I talked to victims privately. Some that are, by the grace of God, they are older now. They have children of their own. They're somehow able to survive. And, there's a big case out of Alabama years ago that broke, and it revealed a large child trafficking network. And the media wanted us to believe that it was all in the family, but I've got victims that still remember being trafficked all the way to the very city that we're in right now.
Oh, yeah.
To some very powerful people.
Yes. And I think we still don't know the full truth of Bibb County,
No, we don't.
who all was visiting there and paying for services.
Absolutely. And I think that stuff is all going to come out.
Yeah.
So my last question, what are you willing to put on the record today that voters can measure but not interpret about your commitment to DHR reform?
Well, as never being in office, so no one can measure a political career, right? But I have been a minister for over 38 years. I've written 4 books. I have hundreds and hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating, videos online. So people can hear my heart and what I believe and what I have stood for. And I have podcasts. We did hundreds of podcasts, a lot of them on this issue of trafficking and so forth. So I think people can look and see he's been talking about these things and concerned about these things for a long time. And 2, that I'm steady in the fact that I'm committed to my faith in Jesus and the Bible, the Word of God, and I'm not moving away from it. Since I was 19 years old, I've never looked back. I've never said, I don't know about this thing, I've always known it's real and it's true. So I tell people a lot of times, when they ask me a similar question, I say, just like I will never move away from my relationship with Jesus and my belief in the scriptures as the Word of God, I will never move away from trying to protect people, especially vulnerable people, from evil people. And, I'm a dad. I'm a grandpa now. I'm Papa. So, and I had all girls. And I can't even, I know what I would feel like. And I know what it would probably put me to the point of doing something I shouldn't do.
I understand.
If they were harmed.
Yeah.
So I think people can look at that and go, we may not agree with him on everything. You don't have to be a Christian like I am or believe everything I believe, but he's steady and that he is, that I love people and I want to protect people, but I don't like evil people.
No.
And I don't like
tolerance.
liars.
No tolerance for that.
And I do believe, as the Bible says in Romans 13, about the minister of God, talking about those in civil authority, do not bear the sword in vain. It's there to stop people who are doing these things. So
absolutely,
that's my foundation. I will not move away from it. There's not an amount of money that can make me move away from it. I could have had all that in the world system. I was headed to Hollywood and going to be rich and famous. And when God got a hold of me and said, I got another plan for you. I don't want that. I don't even want the power of an office. I look at it as like, oh God, you get
but
something.
You need a platform.
Right. You get something like that. It's a responsibility. So, I just look at it like it's to get a job done, period.
Absolutely.
And 2, you can't be afraid if it costs you your life. Because Jesus made the statement, greater love has no man than this, than a man laid down his life for his friends. So I look at kids being hurt, families being hurt. If it's death threats and, something were to happen, that's fine. I'm okay. I would rather go out that way than
staying silent.
Yeah, being a weasel who loved money more than a little kid.
Well, I heavily research lots of candidates. I love to dig into who they were, what they're still saying today. And so I can respect that this message, this mission is not politically convenient for you. And can't say that about the majority. So, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sure the parents, I know, appreciated everything today. So
I'm glad that they got to.
We need you in Baldwin County. I've got some judges I need to come sit with you and talk. So they listen to me down there.
I'm hearing some stories about Baldwin County.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.